Hello everybody, this is TJ and welcome to New Zealand Mysteries. Welcome back to all my wonderful subscribers. I adore you for coming back each and every time to watch videos. I hope I'm getting better each one. If you are new around here, I appreciate you giving me a chance. Thank you very much. Now we're going to be talking about Olive Walker and how somebody in 1970 hurt and killed her, and it is one of New Zealand's oldest cases and well-known cases, but very frustrating. Just a quick couple of notes about the show. If you haven't done so, could you please like or dislike the video, subscribe, hit the notification bell, which helps you know when I cover cases. All the information, sources, and also numbers you can call if you know anything are going to be in the description box below. I want to thank those that have gone to buymeacoffee.com/NZ Mysteries and shouted me a coffee. You can do that for $3, and that $3 means the world to me. That information is also in the description box below. So let's get into this story. This event happens in the town of Rotorua. Rotorua, a city on the southern shores of Lake Rotorua, from which the city takes its name, in the Bay of Plenty region of New Zealand's North Island. Rotorua has an estimated resident population of 58,000, making it the country's 12th largest urban area and the Bay of Plenty's second largest urban area behind Tauranga. We are pretty small over here in New Zealand. Rotorua is a major destination for both domestic and international tourists when there's no COVID. The tourism industry is by far the largest industry in the district. It is known for its geothermal activity and features geysers, notably the Pahutu geyser at Whakari, Wariwa, and hot mud pools. Right, I've never been there. But these pools, these mud pools, are quite famous, and one day, and if you look on this map, it sort of tells you where this is. Let's get back to it. Now this first place that we're looking at is quite interesting. It's called newzealandmissing.wordpress.com, and this is the official New Zealand Mysteries website. So newzealandmissing.wordpress.com is how you get there, and it's a primo website, heaps of information, heaps of cases on there, and I have a lot of work to do on it, and if there's any volunteers out there that have some time that want to give me a hand to add people to this, I would be grateful. So nzmissing@gmail.com if you want to get hold of me. Olive Walker never made it to her sister's house on Friday, May 15th, 1970. Mary Walker was waiting for her 18-year-old sister, who was going to babysit her kids, but she didn't show up. The next morning, Mary heard on the news that Olive's body had been found at 11:30 p.m. the night before, nearly 5 kilometres south of Rotorua. What an awful way to find out about something happening to your sister like this. Very, very disturbing. A group of teenagers found the badly beaten and fully clothed body about 35 metres off the highway in a rest area, and we'll have a look at some places of interest on a map shortly. Mary was then aged 25. She and Olive hadn't really been close friends, but sisters. But her death did come as a huge shock to the family of 11 children. Now, when I got this information, and I've got the source here below as well, it happened in 2005, so this is when it was published. Their mother, Nahuia, is now 86 and still lives in the family home on Leslie Street in Rotorua with her son Trevor. But the father, Tipu, died in 1982 at the age of 76. Mary blames her father's death on Olive's murder, saying he was never the same after she was killed. The pressure and stress that killed him. Olive was described as a shy girl. She didn't have many friends and only went out on the weekends. Her father was quoted in the Daily Post days after her death as saying he did not let his daughter have boyfriends. He said, "I always told her she had a lot of years ahead of her." And that's right, she was 18, and times were a bit different back then, I guess. But Olive did not ever have the chance to have boyfriends or get married. Sometime between leaving her home on Leslie Street that Friday night at 6:45 p.m. and about 9 p.m. is the estimated time of the murder, she was picked up by someone and brutally killed. She was supposed to walk to Mary's house on Malfoy Road, but was last seen near the Odeon Theatre in Pukaki Street at 7:50 p.m. Right. I apologise, I have serious mouth mush today, but I'm not going to edit my mistakes out, so you can have a bit of a laugh at them. Here we are at Google Maps. I tell you, my computer is doing my head in, and it's just not coping with anything, either any of these programs or all the tabs I have open. It just doesn't like it. Right, let's have a little look here. So she lives in Leslie Avenue, and my computer's just doing the funky chicken again. Oh, bugger. Alright, here we go. Stop, computer, please stop. Leslie Avenue is up the top here, and that is where she lived. She was supposed to go to her sister's home in Malfoy Road, which is quite a distance. 6.9 k's, it's telling me, 1 hour 24 minutes. That's a long walk. And Pukaki Street over here is where she was last seen. I do know that you could go this way to Leslie Ave. I'm thinking you could go up around this way, which would add a lot of time and kilometres. Yeah, that's an odd thing, and I haven't heard or read who's seen her, but it does say the last sighting of her was at this Pukaki Street. Now, I just want to shout out to New Zealand's Real Cold Cases Facebook page. These guys were so much help trying to figure out where her body was found. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have been able to figure it out. So let's have a look. I'm so sorry about the quality of the video, guys. I just don't have the computer that I need for this, so I just have to work with what I've got. Now, thanks to someone from New Zealand's Cold Cases, or quite a few people helping me, we think that this is where her body was found. So it's out of Rotorua, along a main highway there, and about 35 metres off the road, it said. And I was given this picture. Apparently this was where her body was found. It was a picnic area. It is no longer there. The road has been widened, and yeah, the place is gone. So very rare picture. Too fuzzy to see what it says down here. Okay, so we're just popping it over to nzherald.co.nz. This is 2007, and the headline reads, Olive Walker murder suspect already in jail. Police have confirmed that one of the suspects in the Olive Walker murder case is a sex offender behind bars. Now, see, that is very... when you see this one, you think, oh, there is one suspect and he's in jail. Oh my gosh, they know who it is. But actually, it's one suspect of many. But the officer in charge of the case, Rotorua Detective Sergeant George Staunton, said the suspect was one of about 100 people being looked at by police. The man's name was offered to police after an identical picture of the murderer was produced with the help of sensing murder psychic Deb Webber from Australia. Right. Sensing Murder was a program that ran in New Zealand for a couple of years, and it had a couple of psychics, some from Australia and New Zealand, and it had Deb Webber was the one that worked on Olive's case. So she was the one that gave this identical picture to the policeman here. So I know a lot of you have a few things that you think about psychics. But just, think about the fact that that's where he got it. Mr. Staunton said police had looked into the man's criminal history and found it was possible he could have raped and killed the Rotorua 18-year-old on May 15, 1970. And I said that R word, didn't I? I'm not going to get monetised ever. Everyone thinks we've got just one suspect, and that's not the case. That's just one avenue we are going down. The suspect is to spend another few years behind bars on violence and sexual charges. Mr. Staunton said police would look at linking the offender with DNA evidence. Do they have DNA evidence? But any progress in the case would come down to police resources. Yeah, okay. He said police hadn't had the time to devote to the case. It's time and resources. There are other cold cases we are investigating, and the family knows that. As information comes through, I tick away on it, but any more than that is going to take a lot of manpower. Now, this is why I do what I do. We want to keep these cases alive. I don't want them just put on a shelf and left there because there's not enough resources and they move on to other cases. We need to give a voice to these guys, and people need to see them. And then people need to see it and know who did something or know some information and think, okay, shit, it's about time. I don't want to cover this guy's ass anymore. I'm going to tell the police. I don't want them just forgotten. So we were talking about that program, Sensing Murder with the psychics, and because I want to cover all parts of the case and not sort of leave anything out, we're going to have a look at this article. This is by stuff.co.nz, and this was in 2017. Sensing Murders, Deb Webber has feelings like the rest of us. Deb Webber can talk to dead people, but she doesn't understand why the living ones have to be so nasty. Some members of the general public see the Australian medium on Sensing Murder and accuse her of exploiting grieving families. And true crime creators like myself and lots of other ones get accused of doing that as well. And that's not what we're doing. We're not trying to exploit families. We're not trying to hurt them in any way. We're trying to give a voice so these people can have some justice or some closure. We're trying to help. She says, I don't understand if people are just trying to help. Why do other people have to put that down and be nasty? She said, and I agree, Deb Webber endures intense physical pain, violent, angry spirits, and nasty skeptics to help grieving families. Helping, she says, is why she does what she does. And that is why I do what I do. Now, quickly down here, her first case on the New Zealand version of the show was the murder of Rotorua 18-year-old Olive Walker. Walker's case appealed to Webber's compassionate nature, and she really wanted to find the girl's killer. When she conveyed that to Walker's spirit, however, the response surprised her. She said to me, "You're not there to find the murderer." And it was like, what? It blew me back a bit because I thought that was my job. And she said, "No, you're here to help my family and the other families." And you know that what that did? Yeah, that helped me because it actually took a lot of responsibility off my shoulders, she said. I think it pays to keep a real open mind. That's what I think when I'm looking into cases. Also, please, I don't want any hate or horrible comments in the comments below. I want everyone to be nice. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, and keep it clean, please. Okay, let's go to the next one. Olive's case has had little progress. Where and when police can make inquiries, these lines of inquiry are followed up, he said. The male of interest from the 2007 article, which is the one I read, has been released from prison. There is no immediate plan to interview him without substantial information to put to him. He said information over the years was gladly received, and he encouraged the public to continue to call. And I will have the information in the description box below of where you can call if you know anything about this case at all. DNA analysis is a modern-day investigative tool. ESR are currently reviewing our case. The process for these older investigations have a lot more considerations before or if they can move forward. Walker planned to walk to the house of her sister Mary Walker to babysit the children, but she never arrived. And of course Mary heard the news about her sister from the night before. Walker was described as a shy girl. She didn't have many friends. Since sometime between leaving her home on Leslie Street at about 6:45 that Friday and about 9 p.m, the estimated time of the murder, she was picked up by someone and hurt. Meanwhile, the cop Staunton said whenever Walker's case resurfaced through the media, there was always a swell of calls. I encourage everyone with information to call the Rotorua Police Station on 07348 0099 or Crimestoppers line 0800 555 111. So let's get this story out there, guys, because we want the flurry of calls that he was talking about. We want that to happen. So share this story as much as you can, wherever you can. Talk to people about it. Just be careful in the comments below. I don't want anything nasty down there. Thank you for being with me. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for donating. You guys are bloody awesome, and I appreciate each and every one of you, and I will see you in the next story.